something.
How would you expect me to do that?
I don't know.
Because here's the only thing that I could do. Courthouse case of Alec Jerome versus Eric Cassidy. To be Eric Cassidy and Paula Cassidy. Go ahead.
Donna Tope appearing on behalf of Caroline Jerome, who is watching by Zoom. I recognize Caroline.
Okay.
And Alec Jerome. They are the landlords in this.
Got it. All right.
Your Honor, Francine over appearing with Eric Cassidy. Ms. Cassidy, Paula is not well. She's been undergoing chemotherapy, and so she won't be present.
All right. Very good. All right. So where are we now in this case?
So appeared before you, and I have on the results of that hearing. I got their counter complaint, etc. And I have filed a complaint bringing the non-payment amount that we are requesting for judgment up to date. And it was.
Hold on a second.
I filed a complaint on Tuesday, and we've been given a case number, but I would.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
You filed a new complaint.
Yes, you advised me that the complaint that I had made it
Okay, go ahead.
so that it would be heard. I gave them more than 30 days to get out. I had that complaint to be heard on the same date that they were supposed to either pay or evacuate. And you said, no, I needed to, because my 30-day notice was still good. I refiled on Tuesday, and I received a new case number, and on that summons and complaint, I noted that there is this pending case because they had filed a counterclaim. And you set this hearing for the counterclaim because Mr. Cassidy's attorney.
No.
Okay.
The last time we were here, I was indicating to you what were, as I'm recalling, were distinctions between the notice and the complaint. And basically gave an option that if I dismissed your complaint, what would end up happening is their counter complaint would survive. Mm-hmm. And so therefore I'd have a case that would just have a counter complaint. So you filed a new complaint.
And I would guess that I would like.
That's fine.
I'm asking for, I asked for the file.
Thank you. You read my mind. Did they open it?
It is open.
Okay. They're bringing it. Got it. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So I guess an order of administrative business, would I request now a motion to join that complaint, or do I need to file a motion to join that complaint with the counter complaint?
Well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to hear them all at the same time, whether they have two files or one file.
Got it.
So you can file a motion for joinder if that's what you wish, but
okay.
I don't know that necessarily matters. How much are you claiming?
Okay.
It's owing in rent.
I would like to, I just make a statement. This case is a simple non-payment of rent case based on the agreement to pay rent and utilities for 102 weeks and follow the simple rules stated clearly in the lease and accepted by the defendants. We want $25,891.07 in unpaid rent. Defendants have been in arrears since September 1st of 2023. That's 9 months. And they have paid nothing since December 2023.
Counsel, please.
Okay.
So the first thing, I'm just trying to answer some of the things that are raised that are jurisdictional issues that are raised by the defendants to try to clear the way for that.
Okay,
All right. And so because I don't have the new complaint, I wanted to know what your claim was.
okay.
And so the dollar amount of
The
it.
dollar amount for the rent owing through May 6th is $25,891.07.
Okay, so let me stop you there.
Okay,
You can either elect to proceed to collect 25,000. Or you're going to have, this case is going to have to go elsewhere. Which I say won't necessarily make me unhappy. I don't know, I shouldn't have said that.
does that terminate the lease or does that get the lease paid up to now? Because the lease goes for 102
No, no,
weeks.
no, 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 no. I have jurisdiction at 25,000 on most civil matters. There is some case law that indicates that I can exceed the 25,000 because it's a landlord tenant matter. But I have to have argument on that in any event. Or what you can do is you can elect to limit your claim to 25,000 and it would stay here. Otherwise, this matter has to be transferred to circuit court.
Okay, so to keep it here before you, that's the first thing, right? To accept.
That I couldn't, you need to understand, I could not issue a judgment or would not issue a judgment
Okay,
for an excess of 25,000.
okay, so we can
Plus
claim
cost.
that, but in order to have it heard by you,
Or
you
in
would
this,
only, yeah. So you're telling us that that's all we're going to get if we
if it
continue.
stays here, that's all that I can do
Okay,
or will do.
okay. Well, glad you're consistent.
Pardon?
It's not printed or like the paper. JS copy.
There isn't one, but that's all right. Ms.
So,
Novart, hold on a second. Ms. Novart, is there anything you wanted to say on that $25,000 issue?
Yes, Your Honor. Is it okay if I?
Yeah, you can say that, that's fine.
Your Honor, my clients are asking for a $2,000 a month abatement of the rent because of numerous things that were never repaired, that were promised to be repaired. So that almost gets us right there to the $25,000, maybe a little short of that, but our counterclaims will far exceed that. My clients have been retaliated against, they've been falsely accused of harboring illegals, they've been spied on, their property was wrongfully entered by Ms. Toe by numerous occasions. She's called the police on them. She falsely accused my client, partner in a law firm in Houston, of assaulting her. So our counterclaims will far exceed the $25,000 jurisdictional limit.
Okay, so if you attach an affidavit to, I mean, actually, you don't have in here, I was trying to make sure I go through everything, but you don't have you didn't file a motion to remove the circuit, did you?
Yeah, we were going to do a motion on the record today, Your Honor, if we need to file.
I think there would need to be a written motion with that, with the accompanying affidavits that would be necessary for the court to, because of the way that your counterclaims are stated, there would have to be an affidavit indicating that. Okay, so now here, given that that's going to be their position on the counterclaim, that means well, I just can't make this easy. So that means the entirety of it would go. All right.
I did have a suggestion.
Well, before you do that, I'm
Okay.
just trying to procedurally think this through. So I'm going to have to take back what I said, because if it had remained here, I'd just operate with two files and wouldn't care. You would have to file a motion to consolidate this new case with this case. You'll file your motion to remove it so that everything goes. Because otherwise what will happen is, I would imagine that once they file theirs, it will go to circuit. Your case be remaining here, which I don't know, doesn't make, that wouldn't make much sense to me, quite frankly.
Right.
All right. I would indicate to the parties this. Because I don't know why I'm doing this, but what the heck. The other way to go around this would be if the parties were in agreement and wanted sort of a quicker process, is that, and I've done it before in the past, I don't know that I really want to do it here, but I will. And that is that if both parties would agree, I would then talk to the chief judge of the circuit court, have myself appointed as a circuit court judge for the purposes of this case, and have it resolved here, and I could hear all claims. But both parties would have to agree to that before I would do that. It'd be the same process. It's just that, quite frankly, with landlord tenant cases, I have no offense to my circuit court colleagues, it's what we do here. So,
Yeah.
Your Honor, would the circuit court rules apply in a case like that if you were to hear it? So all the rules of discovery and evidence and the timeline.
the discovery, everything happens as though it's circuit court. So in district court, there would not normally be discovery until the court says there's discovery. In a case like this one, I would have ordered discovery in any event. But what will happen is that you will have those you'd have the discovery and the like.
So if I had gone through this, one of the things that I was going to posit is that if they pay the rent that is owing to date, the lease will stand as it is for 102 days and mediate the remaining issues, which are what she is propositioning, that, there's been wrongdoing on the landlord's side to the tune of $2,000 a month, and then adjust everything once mediation and case evaluation and all that takes place.
Well, I'm certainly not going to speak for Ms. Nova. I'm sure she could speak for herself, but it seems to me that their idea is that they don't know anything, ultimately, right? Or something, but much like.
Depending upon the time frame, there were certain times, at some point, it became owing nothing because of the blatant refusal to do anything. Originally, we were going to ask for an abatement because of major things like air conditioning, central air, which was promised was never fixed. The oven stove isn't working properly. So it may end up to several months, we will ask for no rent at all, but for several of the months an abatement.
Gotcha.
The home has been not without air conditioning and not without heat.
Well, hold on, because
Well,
I can't.
okay, but you're taking into consideration abatement for things
I'm
that
not taking I haven't taken into consideration anything. I just sat here, hold on. I just sat here and said that I'm just trying to figure out procedurally how you guys are going to hear the case.
I would like to do what you're suggesting. I would like to keep it before you. Landlord tenant, you have such experience with it, and that's what this is. This is simply a landlord tenant case.
All right. And Ms. Novar, do you have a position on that? And if you don't, if you want it to go up to circuit, I am not, but by no means will I take any offense whatsoever. I will be more than happy. I will carry the file there myself.
That's where I usually work, so I'm very comfortable in circuit court. However, my client and I would like to discuss it. I think what we'd like to do is wait for the written motion to consolidate the cases, and then we'll have an answer for you then at that point. And we would do, you know, at that point, we will probably do a motion to remove, but we would let you know if we agreed to have you hear that versus.
Okay, and so that you also know, just because this is the other kicker to it. It could get sent up and then come right back
Yeah,
because
they know.
just so that
No.
you know that that has also happened where I get the call from the circuit court saying,
I see.
This is.
hear this.
Yeah, I understand that, but a number of our counterclaims are really much more better situated in circuit court where the judges have had experience with the numerous counterclaims that we have. So,
Well,
I don't know.
I think you should understand that I've heard circuit court cases for 25 years. So I'm just saying, it's more the landlord tenant aspect that isn't there.
Right.
But I mean, I am more than happy to send this case up and then let it fall where it may. It's not like I don't have stuff to do.
Here.
Your Honor, may I say something else just in general? We've tried on numerous occasions, including 2 days ago or yesterday, to ask, I asked Ms. Tobin an email, would you like to allow the parties to mediate? Can you order the parties to mediate pending the motions that you're about to hear that will be filed in this case regarding the consolidation and the removal? Because the lease requires it. So I'm hoping the district court, with their somewhat equitable power, a little equitable power.
Well, no, we have equitable over landlord tenant. I have full equitable power. So.
So the lease requires it. We've tried repeatedly to ask for mediation and we keep hearing no, but the lease requires it, number one, and that could possibly resolve everything.
I would like to speak to that point.
Sure.
Thank you. Our lease does require it through the University of Michigan Mediation Center for Students. Paula Cassidy was a student at the time we signed the lease. They did not go and utilize that term that we welcome in our lease. They went instead to Student Legal Services and had Mr. Lewis represent Paula and appear as her attorney. They absolutely closed the door on mediation.
Can I ask this? Because history is fine, but I don't know that I need it right now. I think what I'm hearing from the defendant side is they would wish for this to be mediated.
Yes, and I am telling you why I have told them no, because they closed the door on that. If we can hear the unpaid rent and utilities, then mediate the rest.
Ma'am, I don't know. I don't know what happened before.
Right.
Right? All I have is what's in front of me, which is quite frankly a lot. What I'm hearing from Ms. Novar is they would wish the case to be sent to mediation so that the parties mediate. Okay? Regardless of what's happened before. The question then becomes, are you amenable to mediation? I will say also that I can order it to mediation. So, I mean, I typically don't because I can kind of waddle through what needs to get through and sometimes I can handle it faster than getting mediators set up. But are you willing to mediate it or no?
We are willing to mediate, but only on the things that they claim should result in abatement. We have rent that has been unpaid. It's caused a hardship for the owners and the landlord.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I guess maybe you should look at it this way. What you have are what are really going to be sort of these firm contractual numbers.
Yes.
Okay. There's, I don't really want to call them soft because I think that's not the way to really look at it. They're going to have numbers when they're talking about abatements and other things, which are the sort of softer side of, and sort of dig into those hard numbers.
Right.
So you can't, it's impossible to separate it out. So there, for example, there would be no way I would take your claims of those hard numbers of, just adding up each month, let that sit there and then send everything else to mediation because I don't know what then they're mediating against or mediating with. Does that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense to me, but meanwhile, the owners, landlords have been without utilities not being paid. We pay the utilities. They have not reimbursed us under the terms of, so, I mean, can we get partial payment and have the abatement amount that they're saying withheld from the payment partial?
How would you, okay, let me just answer.
I'm just
How
trying to
would
get something.
how would you expect me to do that?
I don't know.
Because here's the only thing that I could do. But I could do this, but it doesn't help you. I could order escrow. They could pay into escrow, but it's gonna sit here
Yeah.
until such time as whatever is resolved and the court orders the escrow split. Now,
Our greatest fear.
but hold it, the only exception to that I've made over the years is when something's not paid that jeopardizes the property itself. Then I will order paid out of escrow, those funds to preserve
No, the
the
property.
property.
Perfect condition.
But other than that,
Period.
I mean, so the bottom line to it is, if the parties want mediation, it all goes, or none of it's gonna go. Because it doesn't make any sense to do it any other way.
Your Honor, one of the reasons we want mediation, honestly, is because I feel that, in all due respect to Ms. Toth, that she's been an impediment to settlement. And so I feel if we can get the landlord at the table with the tenants, we have a much better opportunity to settle the case. Not to mention the fact that it is required into the contract that both parties sign. And Ms. Cassidy is still speaking to you about.
Okay. We wrote a really great lease. We had mediation in it. They withheld rent for no given reason. I would, and either party can, under our lease, either party can request mediation at the University of Michigan. If we go to mediation, I will utilize that part of our lease.
If you what?
If we agree to go to mediation, I will go to the University of Michigan's mediation that is part of our lease instead of, looking for someone outside to mediate.
Just to clarify, Your Honor, the lease calls for Michigan off-campus housing program to do the mediation.
Is that who you guys want to do the mediation?
I mean, I know a number of good mediators.
I'm not paying a
mediator.
mediator.
If they're limited to, then that's fine. We would agree to do that. We're required, in fact, to do that.
What do you want to do?
Oh, sorry, what was the question?
Well, I'm asking what she wants to do.
I think I just said what we would do. I would agree to mediation, I will go to the University of Michigan. I'm not paying a mediator.
And you're agreeable to that or believe that you may be bound to that.
Yes.
So if that's the case, do we think that the parties can stipulate to an order sending it to mediation?
Yes.
And then in that order, and so you would send both these cases to mediation. The case at this point, and I like Snovar's idea, the case would stay here. Okay. And I just think in the stipulation to send it to mediation that neither party is waiving any right to remove the case. That issue is not being addressed, but it's being sent to mediation. So then you guys can have that fight later down the road.
Could this be folded into a stipulation to consolidate the cases and agree to mediation under the terms that you just said, so we don't have to have separate motions?
Ms. Newmeyer, it really, if she moves to consolidate, are you gonna have an objection to the consolidation?
No, we're not gonna.
Okay, so just, why don't you stipulate to,
We did that step first before we did our motion to remove. I was under the impression of,
pardon?
we needed that step done before.
No, you're right, but I think if it's gonna go this route, if you can make part of the stipulation that you're consolidating these two cases, send it to mediation, doesn't waive your right regarding the to claim removal, and then we move from there.
But we would like a 30-day limitation if possible, that we mediate in good faith within 30 days. If it provided. We
What?
can get to the University of Michigan housing.
What?
I mean, we're gonna, the litigation will
Yes.
language.
Okay, what's your objection to what council's proposing?
We have, they haven't paid any rent or utilities, and now we're pushing it on down the road, and we're just.
I think, hold on.
I'm just expressing my frustration. That's.
Well, yeah, and then when I start expressing mine, that's when things get bad.
I know.
So listen, here's
you're
going to be the
patient.
problem. Here's what I heard them say. Okay, so that you understand. What I heard is almost put it on an expedited track.
Yeah, within 30
See-
days. Yeah,
Right. I mean,
I get it.
I was surprised actually when it was said, because normally for me, if I send it to mediation, I'm not seeing it for a while. And 30 days is maybe too soon. But anyway.
I
So
think
do
we
you
would
have
get-
do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
And
Thank you for asking.
And here is so could do that. And then here is the other part of it. And I don't really like to interfere with anybody's particular position on their cases. I just, let people argue their cases. But man, I'm going to be frank with you, because and then if it stayed here, there's a jury demand, so I think I can say it anyway. The negotiation in good faith
Yeah.
is really going to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay. It needs to be done. Now, I'm going to let you know that when you came in here the very first time, and I get parties start yelling at each other about whatever. But you immediately were trying to sort of convince me what bad people the Cassidys are. Yeah, you were.
I only told you that
Oh,
he physically
ma'am,
assaulted me. I
ma'am,
said nothing about that
ma'am,
personally.
ma'am. I'm gonna tell you how the court was taking it then. Maybe I'm all wrong. And what I'd suggest to you is that as you go to this mediation, that you just take that part out. And that you try to negotiate the case for what the case is.
Yep.
For all I know, all of you are bad people. I have no idea. All of you are good people, but I assume that everybody is a good person until they show me otherwise. But you also have to listen to what their claims are. You don't have to agree, but you have to listen to it. Now, I'm going to tell you this, man, because when Ms. Novard talks about maybe being an impediment toward trying to resolve it, typically with most cases, where that happens is only where you're looking at your side. It doesn't mean that you don't want to win. It doesn't mean that you don't want to come out. It doesn't mean any of that. But you've got to give some credence to what one side is saying or the other.
That's why we have it in our lease.
Yes, but the parties have to do that, ma'am. And I'm talking specifically to you.
Yep.
Because every time you come in and whatever, when the Cassidys appeared here on their own the first time, whatever he was trying to raise, you didn't even hear it. I didn't ask you to agree. You just didn't even hear it. You didn't even hear what he was saying. And if you don't do that, I mean, they're skilled mediators. I get it, but it's going to be a failure. So, I'm going to hope and I'm going to pray that each side is going to do that as you go into mediation, but I don't know. I mean,
Part of our lease, and in good faith, I follow the lease and I will participate in mediation with everything that is expected of me as a representative of my clients. I know they want that and I will do it.
Mayor, can we also remove the May 31st, the second case, the one that was just filed, set for May 31st, remove that from the docket?
yeah, I'm taking it all off. Once I get that order, everything's coming off my docket. Okay, but I will have to give a control date. And so how, and that always can be moved, but how long from the time are you looking to have mediation continue? Or what window do you want to kind of give?
I have no idea of what.
Their availability is.
Yeah,
You're right.
But we may pull in another attorney for Paula. We may actually pull in a U of M attorney.
Got it.
That way that may help us.
May help get it there. Okay.
So I'm hoping we can get in within 30 days.
All right, so let's do this. Why don't the parties find out? Let me adjourn this out to the 31st.
Either of us are available.
On the 31st, okay. If people could think they can get everything done in a week, I'm here on the 24th. I'm here every Friday.
We can contact U of M Housing just in general to see if they can mediate, but
Why don't,
take a couple of weeks to bring a U of M attorney on place.
right, well, why don't I do this? Why don't I set it for next week? Okay. And then you can come back with, and maybe the parties can exchange the stipulation regarding mediation. See where we are. If we run into a hiccup, then I can try to deal with that. And then at least if the call if the call is made, then at least maybe you can have a framework as to, and then we can sort of guide ourselves that way. I think that might be it.
That sounds good. Would you be able to do that appearance by Zoom?
I don't see, if we have the paperwork here, I don't see why not. Okay, if you send it to me before then, you can, everybody can appear via Zoom. What time would that be?
3:00.
All right, so we'll set you for the 24th at 3:00. Okay,
Yes, thank you.
thank you. John Clark versus Jody Towles, that matter's dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice. Red Shield Rentals versus Jaleel Wilson.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Fantair on behalf of the plaintiff.
Jaleel Wilson,
Yes,
they are not.
Yes, I'm
iPhone
here.
2, they did put their name in. State your name.
Jaleel Wilson.
All right, Mr. Fantera, what's your claim?
The balance in this case is $4,000, including court costs, is $4,470.
Sir,
Yes.
how are you intending on getting that paid?
Okay, I have the money. I already have the money in my account. I've been trying to get it out of my lease and they haven't been, they told me they'll give me a call back and I never got a call back from them because the house is not safe to be living in right now because I have kids and I have junkies that keep trying to get in my house and my place and I haven't been there. They live in the front and I've been having this problem for a year and a half and they haven't done nothing about it. I have videos and everything. They tried to break in my house multiple times. I called the cops multiple times.
But
Nothing has been done.
these aren't other renters of the landlord, are they?
Yes, they are. It's the same. Yes.
I'm not aware of that, Your Honor.
I talked to them and I showed them videos and everything and they never, and I've been trying to get out of my lease. And she said she was going to call me back and she never called me back. I have the money to pay it. I just want out of my lease. Like I said, I have kids and I have junkies in the front and they tried to get in my place multiple times.
Mr. Fantera, see if what your client will do regarding his lease if he gets this paid. I'll adjourn it out to the 24th, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Augusta Woods Community versus Paul Reedy.
Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, Daniel Landman, P35797, appearing on behalf of Augusta Woods.
And
Good morning,
Nella Reedy.
Nella Reedy's passed away, Your Honor.
That's correct. I do see. I remember. How are you, Mr. Reedy?
Hanging in there. How are you today, Your Honor?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
How much is owing?
Your Honor, including costs, the grand total is $1,844.91.
All right. All right, Mr. Reedy, how are you intending on getting that paid, sir?
Okay, Your Honor, it's been a long couple of years, but I finally got approved for my SSD with back pay. I'm waiting any day for the back pay to come. My monthly payments don't start until the 12th of next month, which I'll be getting paid every second Wednesday. I don't know if it's possible to
hold on a second. So you're waiting on your SSD check, a back pay check.
Yes, sir.
And will that amount get covered here? Will that cover this amount?
I got approved for a 1 year back pay, so yes, sir.
Okay, it will. All right. And you just don't know when the check's arriving.
I was hoping today, but yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to put this out 1 week. Let's see where you are, and then we'll kind of move from there. Okay.
I appreciate it so much. I love your YouTube.
Thank you, sir. May 24th, 2024 at 2 p.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Take care, sir. Augusta Woods versus Eric Roden.
Daniel Landman for the plaintiff. I see Richard Robbins is present, and he is the co-tenant.
Yes, and Richard Robbins.
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. How much is owing on this case?
Your Honor, the total inclusive of costs is $1,318 according to my client's records.
All right. Mr. Robbins, how is that gonna get paid?
I'm gonna have that paid by the 23rd.
So the balance will be paid by the 23rd?
Correct.
All right, then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to adjourn this out to May 24th, 2024 at 2 p.m. And if you get it paid, then this thing will go away.
I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
আমি আছি বগুড়ায়, আর বগুড়ার সব সেরা রাঁধুনিরা তাদের হাতের খাবার নিয়ে চলে এসেছেন। কেমন করছেন তারা, চলুন দেখা যাক। দর্শক, অসংখ্য প্রতিযোগীর মধ্য থেকে প্রাথমিকভাবে বাছাইকৃত প্রতিযোগীরা আজ হাজির হয়েছে বগুড়াতে। প্রত্যেকের স্বপ্ন একটাই, হতে চায় সেরা রাঁধুনি, এবং একটু পরেই তারা মুখোমুখি হবে বিচারকদের। তারা কি ভাবছেন, মনের মধ্যে কিরকম দুশ্চিন্তা হচ্ছে, কে কি রেসিপি নিয়ে এসেছেন এবং তাদের জন্য কতটা সহজ হবে ঢাকায় যাওয়ার টিকিট পাওয়া, কথা বলবো প্রতিযোগীদের সাথে। দেখি তারা কি ভাবছেন। কেমন আছেন?
ভালো আছি, আপনি ভালো আছেন?
আপনার রেসিপি কি?
আমার রেসিপিটা হচ্ছে ক্যারামেল অরেঞ্জ ইয়োগার্ট।
ওকে, এটার মূল ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস কি?
এটার মূল ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্ট হচ্ছে দই, বগুড়ার বিখ্যাত দই। আমি সেটা দিয়ে ফিউশন করার ট্রাই করেছি।
আপনি এর আগেও অংশ নিয়েছিলেন সম্ভবত 1427 এবং গ্র্যান্ড অডিশন থেকে বাদ পড়েছিলেন, রাইট?
রাইট।
এবারের রেসিপি কি?
এবারের রেসিপি হচ্ছে আমার চকলেট মোকা স্ট্রবেরি চিজ কেক। অল আর মাই সিক্রেট রেসিপি, সো আই এম ভেরি এক্সাইটেড।
কুমু, কেমন আছেন?
ভালো আছি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
খুব ভালো। এর আগে 1427 লাকি 7 থেকে বাদ পড়েছিলেন, এবার কি মনে হচ্ছে?
প্রথমবারের যে অভিজ্ঞতা, বর্তমানে আমি তারপর আরো 2 বছর সময় নিয়েছি, শিখেছি, তো নিজেকে এবারে তৈরি করে এনেছি। ইনশাল্লাহ ভালো কিছু একটা হবে।
আপনার রেসিপির মূল বৈশিষ্ট্য কি?
আমার রেসিপির মূল বৈশিষ্ট্য হচ্ছে গ্রাম্য নিয়ে এসেছি, মানে আমার গ্রামের যে জিনিসপত্র সে প্রেজেন্ট করবো।
একসঙ্গে কতজনের রান্না করতে পারবেন?
আমি যদি বলি, এখন আমাদের বাসায় যত গেস্ট আসে আপ টু 20।
একটু কি ভয় লাগছে?
হ্যাঁ, একটু ভয় কাজ করছে, কারণ ফার্স্ট টাইম কোনো রিয়েলিটি শোতে আসছি।
তারপর আপনার জন্য শুভকামনা রইল।
সো মাচ।
দর্শক, ভয় তো লাগবেই, এবং এই ভয়কে জয় করাই হচ্ছে যে কোনো প্রতিযোগীর কাজ। সেরা রাঁধুনি কিন্তু একটা লম্বা প্রতিযোগিতা, এবং এই রেসে টিকে থাকার জন্য আপনাকে অবশ্যই অন্যদের চাইতে বেটার রেসিপি দিতে হবে, এবং সেই রেসিপির মধ্য দিয়ে কিন্তু যারা আমাদের বিচারক রয়েছেন তাদের মন জয় করতে হবে। সো দেখা যাক কি হয়, আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকুন। দর্শক, আমাদের মাঝে বিচারকেরা চলে এসেছেন। একটু পরেই শুরু হবে ফুড টেস্টিং এবং সেই সাথে জাজমেন্ট। আমি এবার কথা বলবো আমাদের বিচারকদের সাথে, দেখি তারা কি ভাবছেন। ওয়েলকাম টু বগুড়া অডিশন। কি খবর?
ভালো, তুমি কেমন আছো?
আমি খুব ভালো আছি, এবং আমি ভুল না করলে এবার দিয়ে বোধহয় 5ম বারের মতো আপনি আসলে বিচারকের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন। বগুড়ার প্রতিযোগী, সর্বোপরি এবারের প্রতিযোগীদের নিয়ে আপনার কি বলার আছে?
প্রত্যাশা তো অনেক বেশি, কারণ বগুড়া সবসময় সব সিজনেই অনেক ভালো ভালো পার্টিসিপেন্টস আমরা পেয়ে থাকি সেরা রাঁধুনিতে। তো এবারেও আমি আশা করছি যে অ্যাটলিস্ট টপ 5 পর্যন্ত যেন যেতে পারে, এরকম পার্টিসিপেন্টস আমরা এখান থেকে নিয়ে যেতে পারি, এটাই আমাদের প্রত্যাশা।
শেফ নাইম আশরাফ, দ্বিতীয়বারের মতো সেরা রাঁধুনির অডিশনের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন বিচারকের। কেমন লাগছে বা কি মনে করছেন এবারের এই আয়োজন নিয়ে?
সেরা রাঁধুনি গত সিজনে আমরা রংপুর দিয়ে শুরু করেছিলাম, সো এবার বগুড়াতে নতুন পার্টিসিপেন্টসদের খাওয়া ট্রাই করার জন্য ভেরি এক্সাইটেড। রেসিপি সিলেকশনে আমি সবগুলো রেসিপি দেখেছি, সিলেক্ট করেছি, সো ওগুলো খাওয়ার জন্য এবার এখানে আশা করি অনেক ভালো পার্টিসিপেন্টস বগুড়া থেকে পাবো।
অনেক অনেক ভালোবাসা। আমার মনে হয় আমি আর সময় নষ্ট না করি, আপনার ভেতরে চলে যান।
তোমাকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। দর্শক, আমাদের প্রধান দুই বিচারককে তো পেয়ে গেছি, কিন্তু বগুড়াতে রয়েছেন আমাদের আরও একজন অতিথি বিচারক। তিনি ঠিক কোথায় আমি এখনো জানি না, তাকে খুঁজে পাচ্ছি না। তিনি এলেই কিন্তু শুরু হয়ে যাবে আমাদের মূল অডিশন রাউন্ড।
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাধুনী,
Học đi con. Ôi chơi lắm cái này.
Con phải lên, con đánh câu của bạn. Con dạy là. Xong rồi cũng đã con mua. Thế bạn em dạy mà. Thầy gì ở đây luôn.
Thôi học đi. Không đi lắng cái này đâu con ơi.
Con có mũ mà.
Thì nhà sẽ tô phần con ơi, đi đâu ấy? Con mình sẽ tô cái phần chúng mẹ Hello Kitty này bằng cái màu hồng nhá, hồng phấn này. Đôi môi là màu đỏ nè. mình đã tô xong phần đầu với cái màu hồng nhá.
আপনার যদি লাক ভালো থাকে আমাদের সাথে নেক্সট অডিশন রাউন্ডে আপনি যেতে পারবেন। হ্যাঁ,
মানে এটা আপনি কেকের উপর দিতে পারেন না, দিস ইজ প্লাস্টিক, রাইট?
ওকে ওকে।
থ্যাংক ইউ। আপনি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন কি বানাতে পারেন?
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন আমি পারি না।
আমার মনে হয় আপনি একটু সময় নেন, ভালো করে শিখেন।
জি।
হ্যালো শেফ, হ্যালো ম্যাম, হ্যালো ম্যাম।
হ্যালো।
এটা হলো আমি করেছি কোয়েল বেগুনের কালাইয়ের টাক। আমার আঞ্চলিকতাকেই আমি ফিউশন হিসেবে এখানে তুলে ধরেছি। আর পাশে ডেজার্ট হিসেবে রেখেছি জাম্বুরা খোসার মালাই চাপিটা।
ইন্টারেস্টিং। এটা প্লেট করা কোথা থেকে শিখলেন?
এমনি কমপ্লিট করার পরে যখন ঢাকাতে চাকরি প্রিপারেশনের জন্য যাই, তখন ওখান থেকে 3 মাসের একটা কোর্স করেছিলাম। ওখানে আপনার ডেকোরেশন, প্লেটিং অনেক কিছু শেখাইছিল। ছোটোখাটো কিছু ওখান থেকেই শেখা হয়েছে। আর ইউটিউব, সুপার শেফ, মাস্টার শেফ, কানাডিয়ান, অস্ট্রেলিয়ান এইসব দেখেই শিখেছি। আর আপনার ফুড নিয়ে এক্সপেরিমেন্ট করতে ভালোবাসি। খাদ্যের অবশিষ্ট অংশ ফেলে দিয়ে আমরা অনেক সময় নষ্ট করি, যাতে ওইগুলো আমরা ফুড হিসেবে আবার প্লেটিং করতে পারি, সেই হিসাবে এটা আমার করা। জাম্বুরার খোঁজ
সেরা রাঁধুনিতে কি ফার্স্ট টাইম?
না, এবার দিয়ে আমার সেকেন্ড টাইম।
আচ্ছা,
এর আগের বার আমি এসেছিলাম আপনার ওই টিমে ছিলাম।
আপনি কিচেনে কাজ করেন না কেন? হোটেল বা রেস্টুরেন্টে কাজ করেন না?
আমি আপনার 17-18 মাস মতন কাজ করেছিলাম আপনার রূপপুর পারমাণবিকের পাশে, মানে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট হিসেবে ঢুকেছিলাম। পরে শেফ চলে যাওয়ার কারণে পুরো আমি হ্যান্ডেল করতাম ওইটা।
কিচেন লাইনে কাজ করতে চান?
অফকোর্স, এই জন্যই এখনো এর পিছনেই ছুটছে।
আপনার আইডিয়াস অনেক ভালো, ফুড আইডিয়াস অনেক ভালো, ফুডের টেস্টও অনেক ভালো।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আপনার খুব ভালো চেষ্টা ছিল, আর আমরা নতুন রেসিপি দেখলাম।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
তো আমার মনে হলো আপনাকে আমরা একটা ওয়েটিং কার্ড দেই। আপনার যদি লাক ভালো থাকে আমাদের সাথে নেক্সট অডিশন রাউন্ডে আপনি যেতে পারবেন।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাঁধুনি।
আমি নিয়ে এসেছি প্লেন রাইস, সর্ষে ইলিশ, আর হচ্ছে একটা ডাউল রান্না, বাড়িতে নর্মালি যেটা রান্না হয় আর কি, আর হচ্ছে 3 পদের ভর্তা।
এতটুকু তো এনাফ না সেরা রাঁধুনি হওয়ার জন্য।
কি রেসিপি বানিয়েছেন আজকে?
এটা স্যার ফ্রাইড চিকেন আর ফ্রাইড রাইস।
বাসায় রান্না করেন?
জি জি।
কি ধরনের রান্না?
নর্মাল রান্নাগুলো আম্মু করে, আর একটু মানে অন্যরকম রান্নাগুলো আমি করেছি।
আম্মু তো সেরা রাজনীতি গিয়ে রান্না করে দিয়ে আসে।
না না, নর্মাল রান্নাও পারি, নর্মাল রান্নাও পারবো।
একটু স্কিলটা বাড়াতে হবে। হ্যাঁ,
আমি নিয়ে আসছি অ্যারাবিয়ান চিকেন খাফসা।
এখানে স্টার অনিস ব্যবহার করেছো? স্টার অনিস অনেক বেশি স্ট্রং ফ্লেভার আছে।
খাপসা নিয়ে এসেছি, এটা খাপসা হয়নি,
আবার আসবে।
চিকেন ললিপপ, সাথে একটু সুইটের জন্য চকলেট কেক নিয়ে এসেছি।
ললিপপের সাথে রাইস যায় না।
চিকেন ললিপপ ইজ আ স্টার্টার।
এই জিনিসগুলো অবশ্যই মাথায় রাখতে হবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
শামিন কি বানিয়েছেন আজকে?
আমি এটা কাঁচা পেঁপের লাড্ডু বানিয়েছি।
শামিন এটা আপনার নিজের রেসিপি?
জি।
ইটস রিয়েলি গুড। আমি খাওয়া স্টপ করতে পারছি না। আপনি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন কি বানাতে পারেন?
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন আমি পারি না।
আমার মনে হয় আপনি একটু সময় নেন, ভালো করে শিখেন।
জি।
ফারজান আক্তার মিম
জি,
কি বানিয়েছো?
পায়েস।
এত বড় প্লেটে কেন?
আসলে ডেকোরেশনের জন্য একটু বড়ই নিয়েছিলাম।
ডেকোরেশন তো ভালো লাগছে না।
পায়েস সাধারণত এভাবে সার্ভ হয় না।
আপনার নাম বলবেন আর কি রেসিপি বানিয়েছেন সেটা?
আমার নাম মোহাম্মদ শাফিউল আলম, ডিশের নাম লিয়ার হ্যাভেন টিট।
এটা হ্যাভেন কোন দিক থেকে হলো?
একটা স্মুথি ভাব আসে এই জন্য।
যে একটা বাইট দিলাম আর একদম উড়ে হ্যাভেন। আমি খেয়ে যেটা দেখলাম কেকটা খুবই ড্রাই। সরি টু সে আমি যেতে পারি নাই হ্যাভেন।
অডিশন রাউন্ডে বিচারকদের কাছে প্রতিযোগীদের রেসিপির পাশাপাশি ফুড প্রেজেন্টেশন, কুকিং স্কিল, নলেজ, সেলফ কনফিডেন্স সহ বিভিন্ন বিষয়ে পরীক্ষার সম্মুখীন হতে হয়। সেই পরীক্ষায় অনেকেই বিচারকদের প্রত্যাশা পূরণ করতে পারেননি, তাই সেরা রাঁধুনি হওয়ার স্বপ্ন তাদের এখানেই থেমে যায়।
অয়েল ফ্রি আলু পনির। এটা
পনিরটা কিভাবে বানিয়েছে?
পনিরটা এটা কেনা পনির।
তাহলে তো আলুও বাজার থেকে কেনা। তাহলে আপনার কি?
আমার রান্না রেসিপি আমার।
আমার নাম নাসরিন আক্তার মিম। আমি আজকে করেছি ভ্যানিলা কেক, সাথে আমি করেছি হাঁসের মাংস।
কেকের সাথে হাঁসের মাংস?
কেকটা এখানে কেন, মানে টপ থেকে এডিবল?
নো,
সো এটা এডিবল না। এন্ড দেন হোয়াই ডিড ইউ পুট?
নো, এটাও এডিবল না, এটা হচ্ছে প্রপার। হ্যাঁ,
মানে এটা আপনি কেকের উপর দিতে পারেন না। দিস ইজ প্লাস্টিক, রাইট?
ওকে ওকে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Mình đã tô xong bức tranh về chú mèo nha. Các bạn hãy quan sát lại bức tranh mình đã hoàn thiện này. Để theo dõi các video tiếp theo, các bạn nhớ bấm like cho mình nhé. Xin chào các bạn. Hello, xin chào các bạn đến với kênh YouTube của mình nha. Hôm nay chúng mình cùng nhau tô màu bức tranh về một chú gà mái này, một chú gà mái hoa mơ này. Chúng mình cùng tô màu nha. Một chú gà mái với bộ chân rất là sần sù, như kiểu chú ấy là một chú gà mái rất già rồi ấy. Nên mình sẽ tô cái màu của nó là màu đỏ nhá. Đây này, đây là cái màu đỏ này. Mình sẽ tô cái phần màu trên đỉnh đầu trước nha. Mình đang tô cái phần màu của chú gà. Mình đã tô xong cái phần màu với cái màu đỏ này rồi nhá. Giờ mình sẽ tô sang phần mỏ này. Để cái màu nâu. Đây là cái màu nâu này. Mình sẽ dùng cái chì ngòi nhỏ này. Một cái mỏ rất là sắc nhọn.
$15 লাখ পেয়ে গেলেন, এরপর কি করবেন?
আমি নিজের নামে একটা রেস্টুরেন্ট ওপেন করতে চাই, এটা করতে পারবো, এটা করতে পারবো।
15 লক্ষ টাকায় রেস্টুরেন্ট হবে না তো?
8 বছর চাকরি করেছি মানবাধিকার সংস্থায়। চাকরি চলাকালীন আমি কোনো কিছু শিখতেও পারছিলাম না, এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আগাতেও পারছিলাম না, সেজন্য আমি চাকরি ছেড়েছি এটাতে আগাবো বলে। আমার রেসিপির নাম হলো ভেলভেটি কোকোয়া ক্রেভিং।
জান্নাত, কি করেন আপনি?
আমার একটা অনলাইন পেজ আছে যেখানে বাসায় ফুড বানিয়ে সেটা কি বলে সেল করি। কারিগরি প্রশিক্ষণ কেন্দ্র থেকে কয়েকটা বেকিং এবং কুকিংয়ের উপরে সার্টিফাইড কোর্স করেছি এবং বর্তমানে এখন ডিপ্লোমা কালিনারি ম্যানেজমেন্টের উপরে ডিপ্লোমা করছি।
কেন এত পড়াশোনা করেছেন কালিনারি নিয়ে?
নিজেকে একজন প্রফেশনাল শেফ হিসেবে দেখতে চাই।
যখন প্রফেশনাল শেফ হয়ে যাবেন, আমি লাস্ট 7 বছর ঈদে কখনো ছুটি নেইনি। সো ঈদ কমপ্লিটলি গন, হলিডেজ কমপ্লিটলি গন। ফ্যামিলি এটা রাজি হবে? ফ্যামিলি মানবে?
আমি 8 বছর চাকরি করেছি মানবাধিকার সংস্থায়। চাকরি চলাকালীন আমি কোনো কিছু শিখতেও পারছিলাম না, এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আগাতেও পারছিলাম না, সেজন্য আমি চাকরি ছেড়েছি এটাতে আগাবো বলে। আর চাকরি যখন করেছি তখন আমার ছেলেকে আমার মা, আমার বোন, ওরা হলো কি দেখাশোনা করেছে।
আপনার কেন মনে হচ্ছে যে সেরা রাঁধুনি সেই প্ল্যাটফর্ম যেটা আপনাকে শেফ হতে সাহায্য করবে?
যারা এই কালিনারি জগতে আসতে চায় তাদের জন্য একটা সেরা প্ল্যাটফর্ম হলো সেরা রাঁধুনি। সব কিছু একটা শক্ত হাতের প্রয়োজন হয় কোনো কিছুতে সামনে আগিয়ে যেতে, তো আমার কাছে শক্ত হাত সেই সেরা রাঁধুনিটা।
শেফ, আমরা কি করতে পারি বলেন?
নিয়ে যাই ওয়েটিং কার্ড
দিয়ে দিচ্ছি।
4 বছরের অপেক্ষা।
কি নাম তোমার?
ফাতেমা খাতুন ঋতু।
কি বানিয়েছো আজকে?
ডেজার্ট বানিয়েছি হানি সানফ্লাওয়ার। আমি এখানে বাকলাভা করছি ক্রিম চিজ দিয়ে, যেখানে আমি ক্রিম চিজে ইউজ করেছি হানি।
সো দিস ইজ আ
বাকলাভা এবং চিজ,
আউটার লেয়ারটা বাকলাভার
এবং উপরে চিজ কেক,
এন্ড দেন দিস
দম চিকেন, আর ওইটা নান বানাইছি আমি।
এই দুটো রেসিপি থেকে যদি যে কোনো একটা সিলেক্ট করতে হয়, আমি যদি বলি আপনাকে আমি একটার জন্য মার্ক করব, সেটা কি হবে?
তাহলে বাকলাভা চিজ কেক।
কেন?
বাকলাভা আমার বেকিং খুব ভালো লাগে করতে।
কয়েকটি কুইজিনের নাম বলেন।
আচ্ছা, মানে আমি ইতালিয়ান, তারপর এইভাবে বলবো কি, পাস্তা, তারপর পিৎজা। ইন্ডিয়ান কুইজিনের মধ্যে আসে বিরিয়ানি, তারপর হলো বিভিন্ন ধরনের রায়তা, রাবড়ি, এগুলা। আর টার্কিশ ডেজার্ট করেছি, টার্কিশ ডেজার্টে বাকলাভা তো আসেই। থাই কুইজিনে হলো টমিয়াম স্যুপ আছে, তারপরে হলো থাই ফ্রাইড রাইস আছে। একটু
লেটস সে আমরা আপনাকে আজকে সিলেক্ট করলাম, আপনি শোতে এসে শো জিতে গিয়েছেন,
ওকে,
$15 লাখ পেয়ে গেলেন, এরপর কি করবেন?
আমি নিজের নামে একটা রেস্টুরেন্ট ওপেন করতে চাই, এটা করতে পারবো, এটা করতে পারবো।
15 লক্ষ টাকায় রেস্টুরেন্ট হবে না তো?
যতটুকু হোক, ছোট হোক বা বড় হোক, যতটুকু হোক আমি করব।
যদি আজকে এখানে সুযোগ না পান তাহলে কি আপনার জার্নিটা থেমে যাবে?
না না না, অবশ্যই না, আমি আবার চেষ্টা করব।
আই লাইক দ্য স্পিরিট। আপনার ফুডের টেস্ট ভালো।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
এখন খুশি হতে পারেন। আপনাকে যখন 15 লাখ টাকা জিতেছেন আপনি ইমাজিন করতে বলছি আপনি অনেক খুশি হয়ে গিয়েছিলেন।
না না এমন কিছু না, ঢাকা অবধি যাই তখন হয়তো ইমাজিন করতে পারবো যে আমি অনেকটা একটা ধাপ হলেও এগিয়ে আসতে
ইমাজিন
পারছি।
করেন আপনি ওয়েটিং কার্ড পেয়ে গিয়েছেন।
হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা
পেয়ে গিয়েছেন
সত্যি?
জি, চলে আসুন।
ঠিকই জানি কি জানি আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাধুনী।
Chân thật và kiên nhẫn con mang theo, gieo thiện lương muôn phương bằng cả trái tim, thiên thần còn nhìn thấy khắp nơi mẹ trên trời cao con rớt xuống đây hắt, được làm em bé xíu của mẹ này, dịu dàng mẹ cười đón thiên thần đáng yêu.
Mình đang tô bằng cái màu đỏ nhá, một cái màu đỏ tươi rất là lộng lẫy cho chú công này, với bộ lông dài. Mình đã tô xong cái phần đuôi là màu tím và màu đỏ nha. Mình sẽ tô đôi chân với cái màu nâu. Đây là cái màu nâu nha. Rồi cái phần chân là cái màu nâu nè. Bộ lông dài, bộ đuôi dài lên nó sẽ che hết cả cái phần chân của chú công này nha. Mình sẽ tô phần lông trên bằng cái màu vàng. Vàng và cam kết hợp.